Hey, my medical coding family, how's everybody doing today? Good to see you guys.
Gabrielle Union Wade here.
Make sure I got something turned off. See what that is. All right, I have no idea what that was, but I think I got it turned off now. How's everybody doing today? It won't let me do that. I don't know why it won't let me pin that comment up to the top like it used to, but thank you, Go Kart. Hey, Cotton Candy. It's really hard to see. I'm running YouTube and TikTok at the same time, so it's really hard to get to all the chat. We're practicing practice questions right now, so if you want to participate in some practice questions, I have one up right now. See what you guys can do with this one to get your process of elimination, or try looking at the differences between the codes. Let's see, I don't think my camera is working. Yeah, it's definitely not working. Okay, let me add a new one then. There we go. Move that over there. There we go. Now we got our book out. Would love to study this, but English is my second language. Aw. Some of my very first people that I ever helped pass their CCS or CPC exam were not from America. Back in 2019, I helped quite a few pass their CCS exam for sure. I know this question is super small because it's a big case and it's really hard to fit on one screen, but what do you guys think is the correct answer for this one? How would you guys go about doing this exam question? If you run to the individual codes, it might be a little bit more difficult than if you go to your tabular list in the back of the book, right? You've got an alphabetical index in the back of your CPT book. And if we go to the name of our surgery, which is VITR, and we go right here, I'm in the AMA 2026 CPT book. I'm on page 1339. Third column over. Where were we? We were anterior. And did we do partial or subtotal? Did subtotal. That tells us our answer has to be in which area? And which code? It says it has to be a 67010. Let me see if I can't get this camera a little bit bigger. No, that's not going to make it any bigger. This might, though. No. No. But follow along in your guys' book. Third column over. Find your name of your procedure. Find out if you're anterior or if you had different stuff like photocoagulation or pars or retinal prosthetic, those kinds of things. And then follow down to your subtotal, and we get 67010. And we only have one answer with that CPT code, and that is a lot easier than going around and looking at all of these different CPT code descriptors, for sure. Let me format this one and make it look a little bit better for you guys on the screen. All right, guys. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? If you only removed the anterior side, right, of the chamber, is that a partial or subtotal? They want to know if you know that difference. If you go to your 67005, let's go look at that real quick. 67005. they use a needle with your 67005 to do the removal. If you use a hook, that Sinski hook right there, that's where you use the 67010. And if you have my notes for this area, you've got hook and needle on that area. So it's just what instrument you used for that previous question. Sorry about that. Okay, back to this question. Make the answers bold for you. Thanks, Twinkle, for all the likes on TikTok. Thanks for sharing out the live. We are streaming on Tube of the U, so it is a much better view if you're over there. And we will be having some giveaways over here on this one. Jessica, I don't really do one-on-ones anymore. With 9,000 emails in just one email account and 3,000 in the other one, and everybody's asking for help, I can't be with everybody one-on-one. What I do is I have $6 classes on Fridays where you can be with a small group of people on Zoom and you can unmute your mic and have conversations with me. We do practice exam questions. It's just $6. I'm doing one this Friday and next Friday if you can attend. And then I do group workshops also on Sundays. And I've got one coming up this Sunday where we do 75 questions within 3 hours. Same pace as the certification exam. That way you know what to expect on exam day, what you're going to face, what kind of pace you need to keep going. So I try to do mini micro groups is what I do, because getting together with one-on-one is very, very stressful. What time you think it's 2 o'clock and what time I think it's 2 o'clock, and getting us individually to meet up at the right time at the right place, Zoom or whatever, it's very, very difficult and it's very time consuming. So I prefer just to set a time and let everybody just show up. And then everybody can just unmute and take turns asking questions. That makes it a lot easier. Friday's class will be at 11:30 Arizona time zone. It is 4:30 Arizona time zone right now. That will be the time that we're going to go live on Friday for our 2-hour class. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? How would you guys find the answer? If you're on Tube of the U, you get to see my book and watch me go find the answer along with the question. It's really hard to show all this off on, that looks a lot better on the cell phone view over here. There we go. What did we do today in our exam question? The eyeball was not repairable and it was removed. What do we call that? We look in our alphabetical index in the back of the CPT book. We learned this a little bit yesterday. We had 3 vocabulary words: enuclearization, evisceration, and exuration. There was something with an EX. So if we go to enuclearization, right? I'm in the AMA CPT index, page 1164. You'll find the word enuclearization. We need to know, was it a cyst? Was it the prostate, a tumor? Nope, it was an eye. So when it is an eye, it tells you what codes you can use. There's 3. There are 65101, 65103, and 65105. And I can look at my available answers, right? And I can eliminate anything that is a 650 for sure. What about these ones? 103 is okay and 101 is okay. So it's just a difference between those 2 codes. I got myself down to a 50-50 shot by looking in the alphabetical index really, really fast. And I think the difference is one with a prosthetic and one without. Something like that is usually the norm for these. But we'll go check them out. So now I'm in the AMA CPT book on page 499, and we've got our 65101 and 103. And yes, like I thought, the only difference between those 2 codes is using an implant. So I'll just look through my question and see if we added an implant on that day. I see an implant, so that means my answer is B. I don't know if I saw anybody with a correct answer, did I? Did anybody pick B? Oh yeah, love, did, good job. Blavowski, good job. Go-kart, good job. So how you sign up for my class on Sunday, just go to my website, Medical Coding by Jen, and you can see I have both classes right there on the main page. You can click on the $6 Friday class, or you can click on the Sunday class. Just click on Book Now. It'll take you to a calendar. Click the date that has the bubble beside it for the class, because it'll say, okay, what date do you want? I don't know why it does that when there's only one date to pick. It ought to automatically do it, but I don't know how to do that. And then just click the time, which there's only one time. I don't know why you have to click it. It just seems silly to me. And then click the next. And that's easy as it gets. Just go to medicalcodingbyjen.com. It's right there on the main page. You can't miss it. I got it big and bold right there. You will get the replay if you can't stay all day for the Friday classes or for the workshop. Let me see if I can't get this one all on one page. We'll see. and get it bold for you guys. Just a second. And then let me shrink it down. All right. I got kind of chat kind of in the way. Let me see. What wrong one? There we go. There you go, guys. How would you guys run around and find the correct answer for this one? Would you go straight to the CPT codes and look at the individual descriptors? Would you use the chapter table of contents to divide answers out, or would you go to the alphabetical index? When my second and third digits of every available answer, the second and third digits are different, like we have a 674 or a 675, I know usually the table of contents will be helpful because it will be a different surgery with those different numbers. Usually when your second and third digits change, then that means you have a different surgery. You went from incision to excision, or you went from repair to reconstruction, something like that, which can help you get down to the correct answer. But I do love showing off the alphabetical index in the back of the book because not a lot of people teach with it. But what did we do today? We did, if you look right here, procedures performed, it says aspiration right there. So if I just go straight to the alphabetical index and look up aspiration, and then my body part underneath that, I bet I could find the code super fast. A lot easier than looking at the table of contents or the individual code descriptors, I bet. Let's see. Aspirations will be around page 1112. And there's our aspiration word. Now all we need to do is make a decision about the first word that's indented. Are we doing abdomen, amniotic fluid, bone marrow, all the way down, right? What body part did we do? We did an orbital cyst. So where would I find that? Underneath here? Would I find it under cyst or would I find it under eye? Those kinds of things you got to think about super fast. If we do go down to orbital, we do have a code for orbital contents, and it tells us our answer has to be 67415. If I look at my available answers, I have only one answer with that correct code. D has a different third digit, so gotta be careful with that one. A is the only answer with that correct code that the alphabetical index says, because this has a 5 in it instead of a 4. Our alphabetical index back here says it is a 67415. Kendra, thanks for joining the Medical Coding YouTube channel. For $5 a month, she's getting access to all the old workshops, duck classes, book prep videos, and me reading out all the guidelines in 3 different podcasts. So I hope that is super helpful. We will give away 5 memberships in just a little bit. You just have to be in the YouTube channel to be entered into the contest. I just send some money to YouTube and then they pick a winner. And it's usually somebody who has chatted the most or recently. Make these bold. And let me make this bigger so you guys can read it. Move this one over some because I can make it bigger. Here we go. Whoops, wrong way. Uh-oh. Where'd you go? There we go. How would you guys do this question? 3 of your available answers have the same first 3 digits. Only one has a different first 3 digits. Would it be prudent to go to the alphabetical index and look? 2 of your answers do start off with the same code. The only difference is your diagnosis code. Best of luck, Nikki. Best of luck. There's only 5 questions on the certification exam for AAPC certification in ICD-10, so don't stress about it too much. Be sure to focus in on CPT codes. Everything from anesthesia all the way back to medicine, that is 74% of your CPC certification exam. So focus your studies on that. What do you guys think is the best route to go about looking up this answer? With this one, I probably wouldn't even look at any of the CPT codes. I would just look at the difference between the diagnosis codes in A and C. What's the difference between H90.7 and H90.1? And pick my answer based off that. Hey Jessica, how's it going? Good to see you. As always. Let's see, we go to hearing aid, right? In our alphabetical index. We go to hearing aids. And we go to implantation. That tells us our answer has to be 69710, which we already really knew anyway, because 2 of our answers start off with the same exact answer. AAPC has a pattern. They even tell you on the website at aapc.com. If you go to the CPC certification exam, and they have a list of things that you can expect to see during the exam. One of them is when you see the same answer listed in two available answers, then there's a reason for that. They just want to know if you know the difference between H90.1 and an H90.7. There's something going on with that diagnosis. They want to know if you know that difference. What do you guys think is your correct answer? What about TikTok? We got 45 of you guys on there. Thank you so much for the roses, the heart me's. Thank you for sharing out the live. You guys are awesome. Thank you for the thumbs up. Yep, Heidi. Yay. Your baby is 6 months now. Oh, that is so cool. I'd have me a blow up swimming pool, right, with real high edges, and then just throw all of the baby's toys into the swimming pool, and food, Cheerios, you name it, it's just thrown in there, and then let the little one work underneath my desk as I was doing claims or something. Just a big old blow up swimming pool, something that they couldn't crawl out of, and just let them have a field day inside that thing. Thank you for the eagle. Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. Thank you so much. That is really cool. Thank you for supporting the live. Yes, C is your correct answer. Perfect. What about our next one? Let me get this all on one page for you guys. And let me make this bold so you guys can see the available answers easier. There we go. Sensory neuro is the key word defining the diagnosis. Perfect. Thank you so much. That is so awesome. I don't know if I've gotten any, I know I haven't for 2026 gotten any jewels or anything like that on YouTube, so thank you so much. That's awesome. Thank you for doing this. I missed the CPC exam by 2 points twice. Just Jilly. Aw, bless your heart. But that is amazing. 2 questions away from passing. Fantastic. I hope you're able to, I don't know, maybe get on the McCary app and sell everything out of the closet that you haven't used, or Christmas presents you didn't use. You know, any little thing that you can find, maybe some penny items from the Dollar General store, whatever, anything you've got laying around the house that you're not using anymore, and just sell that stuff off. I like McCary because there's no PayPal fees and there's no 30-day, 60-day, or 90-day returns. It's 3 days. You both like or hate the transaction, and then that's it. The deal is done. If they hate it, they got to speak up within 3 days. If they love it, then great. You get a deposit into your checking within 3 days. I love the McCary app. I've used it for years. I use it especially around Christmas or car tag season, or when new books are coming out. You know, the 2027 books are already coming out. The PCS comes in this week or something. That was $700 to buy them because I have to have them electronic and in paper form. So that's like, ouch. That's like $50 a month that you got to remember to squirrel away. And that annual stuff like that is really hard to remember to save for. So I love the McCary app. Anything that we have, we don't use anymore. Anything. I mean, heck, we have a corn snake and her sheddings every month. I put them in a Ziploc bag, and people that make earrings out of her scales and stuff will buy the sheddings from the snake. I mean, people buy all kinds of stuff. Your empty toilet paper rolls, start saving those, and people will buy them. You just got to put it in a old Amazon package, and you just take your phone to the post office and they'll print your shipping label for you. So, and the customer pays for shipping, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, that's what I use to help me pay for all that extra fluff. Aw, thanks, Jilly. Thank you so much for the gifts. We're going to have a duck class this Friday, a workshop this Sunday, and another duck class on the next Friday. Those are really cool. You get exam questions sent to your Zoom lesson where you've got to answer them in a timed manner, all on your own. You won't get influenced by other people's answers. And then it's timed. So we'll do like 2 minutes for 3 questions. And then in 6 minutes, we'll go over the answers and stuff like that. So it's really fun class. It goes by super fast though. 2 hours goes really fast. But I hope to see you guys in there on Friday. And of course on Sunday, because that's a lot of work to prep 75 questions for Sunday's certification practice. But if you can keep up with me, find all the codes, turn to the correct answers, and at least get 80% of them correct on Sunday's micro exam, then you know you're ready. So we're going to do it in the same pace as the certification exam. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? Everybody's got B for this one. We're moved on to the ears, right? If we go look in our index in the back, the name of our surgery is helpful to know. When we go to the tympanic membrane and we excise it, that is called what? That's the name we're going to look up in the back of the index. If I could spell and know my alphabet well enough. We'll go to tympanoplasty. Yep. Remember, you've got ostomies, plasties. Be sure you know which one you're looking for. We're going to go to plasty, right? Then we're going to go down to without mastoidectomy. And that's going to tell us that our correct answer is 69631, and we only have one correct answer with that one, which is B. Good job, everybody on TikTok or YouTube. Good job, good job. Make this a little bit darker. There we go. Can I make it bigger? There we go. A little bit bigger. All right. Good job, Wilson. That's perfect. Oh, I've got the wrong thing open. Hold on, guys. I gotta go open up something real quick because I don't have a way I can pay for the YouTube memberships because I'm in the wrong chat. Yep. Let me turn this off and let me open up this pop out chat and open up that. Go back to our Word document. There you go, guys. Sorry about that. I was in chat like I was in my Travis YouTube channel, not Medical Coding by Jen channel, and Travis channel does not have access to the credit card. So I had to switch. You have a Delilah voice. Not sure if you know that radio personality, but it's a compliment. Aw, thank you so much. I was raised in the 70s and 80s, and it seems like a lot of the DJs were guys back then. As far as DJs, we had maybe Elvira was, but she was TV kind of like she just did intros for TV shows and stuff, so not a lot of female radio DJs in my audio listening. But when I was young in college and a young mother in the 90s, I didn't have a car with a radio. I listened to a boom box in the seat next. It was like a bench seat car and literally had the cassette tape of, Michael Jackson or who's the girl with the pink hair? Cyndi Lauper. I had hers. I had some of her CD, little cassette tapes, those kind of things they used to play in the seat next to me. So I didn't have real live TV, so I missed out on all the MTV stuff. And then I missed out on having live radio too, because I was too poor for all that fancy stuff back then. Thank you for the jewels. I got 2 more stars. Thank you, Amy. She was 90s late evening. Yeah, I didn't have any access to even cable TV. It was too expensive for me back then. Yep. We watched VHS tapes, some of those 9-hour-long cartoons, the Looney Tunes that would play for 9 hours. That's what we lived on in the 90s. Because my oldest was, 2, 3, or 4 in the 90s, so him being born in 91. I didn't have no cable TV or even a radio in the car. Hey, the stream is just going so good. We're going to switch out mouses. Yeah, I'm not doing anything with it until I stop the stream. IT director's in-house. He set up our computer system yesterday and got us rolling back again. I was just told I had a Delilah voice, like something about she used to be a radio announcer or something in the 90s. Yeah. So the first thing I noticed inside this question is, if you look at the available answers, we've got modifier changes, right? Only one of them has a number modifier, and 3 of them have positional modifiers. Noticing that and where you are in the CPT book is a handy little trick to pay attention to. if I was doing something in the eyes or ears, is it more likely that we would have the number modifier or a body part positional modifier? You can also look up at your exam question real quick and see if you only did something on the RT or left, that kind of thing could be super helpful also. Speaking of the voice, I got a frog in it now. We do have RT. That should be part of this particular exam question for sure. So we know anything with the bilateral would not work. So you could eliminate B really quickly. Also with the right, you know that you're going to need a diagnosis code with the number 1 in it. All of our answers have a 1 in it, so that's not really helpful. But if you know that in the diagnosis code section that anything that is right is going to have the number 1 in it, anything with a left will have a number 2, anything that was bilateral will have a number 3 in it in general. Not always, but in a lot of things for sure. For diagnosis codes only though. Just kind of a handy trick to know. You looked at the ICD-10 codes. Great, Wilson. That's awesome. We have 2 with the same. And then it's just a difference between the CPT codes. If we were to do this one with our CPT book, right, and we looked at our TIMPAN, are we doing tympanoplasty this time, or are we doing tympanostomy this time? Which one of these would we be looking under for what we did today for this patient? Which one? Is this a plasty or an ostomy, stomy? TikTok saying it's an incision. All we did was make us an incision and suck some stuff out. So that's not a repair. That's not removing something, rearranging stuff, putting a graft in, repairing something. It is a ostomy. So we would be underneath that word this time. Oops, I just dropped liquids on the keyboard. Uh-oh. IT director's gone. I'm going to get in trouble. Let me get a washcloth real quick. Oh, no, I got napkins. I didn't spill much. Just on the control button over here. Just a light little sprinkle. Just don't want it falling down inside the keyboard. There we go. All right. Sorry about that, guys. So, if we're under stomy, our next word we're going to look up, right, is that we used general anesthesia. A lot of the differences between some of these codes are whether we used local or general anesthesia. If we go under general anesthesia, there's only one code that could be the correct answer, which is our 69436. And that tells us that C is our correct answer if you use the CPT alphabetical index. But you got to know your differences, right? So in your index right here where it's got your tympanostomy, you can write in the word up above it, right, or next to it, you could write incision. And then this one, you could put repair. And then you've got your differences made. You're welcome, Wilson. That's awesome. Woody says, also, guys, don't know if this will help anyone, but if you want to avoid seeing what everyone else is saying while you're looking up at the question, you can close chat and then reopen it to type in your answer. That's awesome. And of course, on TikTok, you just swipe left to right on the screen and chat will all disappear and you can only just see the screen. All right, let's move on to our next question. And let me get this one down below and get this one stretched out. I love it when all the answers are on one line. Gonna bold it. Here we go. These little things are addictive. I got the TikTok can see it, YouTube can't. Watermelon twist from Starbucks. All right. I buy them from Walmart in a case and they just come to the house shipped that way, and they're really a lot cheaper, like $1.50 a can straight from Walmart, but you have to buy the case. This one, if we just look up this word in our alphabetical index, maybe it'll tell us which of the codes we should be under. Our word is on page 1132 if you're in the AMA CPT for 2026. Third column over towards the bottom. You looked under blipospasms. That's awesome. In the CPT book. That's the great thing about the alphabetical index in the back of the book is you can look up body parts, diagnosis codes or words, or the name of your surgery. Very forgiving alphabetical index, unlike the one that we use for ICD-10, which is not forgiving at all. You have to have the magic word or it will not take you to the correct diagnosis code. It'll say, see here, see here, see here, and keep directing you from one thing to another until you give up, right? I don't like the ICD-10 alphabetical index, but I do like the one in the CPT book because I can go under the body part and find this and go all kinds of places. We are doing the I, which is going to be controlled by the facial muscle right there. So if we go to facial muscle, it will tell us that our code has to be 64612 or 15. And we only have one answer that has that option in it, right? 64612 and 15. That's not 12, that's not 12, or 15. Yep, our only answer is this one. Gosh, you make it so. Good job, MK. Oh, I miss you. I hope you're doing well. I have CEUs for Friday's class, MK, if you want in, or Sunday's class if you want in. And then the next Friday has CEUs too. So if you have already passed your certification exam and you need CEUs, my little duck class and my workshop on Sunday all come with CEUs. Tomorrow we have to go out for, oops, I gotta do the TikTok puzzle. Just a second. Here we go. There we go. We have to go out for Travis's cheer team. That's Travis doing the splits there and beating out some cheerleaders. But we have to go get some sponsors for his cheer team this year. So we have to go out and try to find companies that will sponsor the team. They're going to get their company logos on t-shirts that the cheerleaders pass out during the home football games. And every time we get a touchdown, they'll pass out and toss out those t-shirts with the company logos of the companies that sponsor us. So I'm not sure what time we'll get done. I will try my best to do another live tomorrow at the same time. But if I get too pooped, I just won't do it. But hopefully we will be able to do it. Hopefully I won't be too tired. We will be starting really early in the morning. So like we'll be out the door like at 6 in the morning. So 4:30 should give us plenty of time. Of course, my business will be sponsoring Medical Coding by Jen. And then my mom's Senior Citizen Tops Club is going to be sponsoring Travis. Our local swimming pool company that builds home swimming pools. I would love to have one in our backyard, but we don't have one yet. But Aqua Pools sponsors Travis every year. But we just need to find a couple of more businesses. So we're going to try to do that tomorrow because we have to be out in the morning for one more thing. So Wednesday I can't do a live because I have CPMA class to teach that night, but we should be able to have another live on Thursday. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow and Thursday for more practice questions because I got plenty. I've got 200 of them, and we're only on 140. What I see with this question is 2 of them have a modifier, 58, and 2 of them do not have a modifier. What is our modifier? 58, that is staged procedure. So Wilson, how long is a global period for their prior surgery? Let's see. 6 weeks earlier, they had a cataract removed. How long is that global period? 90 days. MK is over here saying 90 days. So is Becky. So 6 weeks, does that fall in with 90 days? Yep, you're correct. We will be using A or B. I was just making sure. I believe there's a question like this on the CPC exam, but the prior surgery was something that did not qualify for a 90-day global period. Like it was an outpatient, 1 day, like gallbladder removal or something, where it was just the 1 day you only get for global. You don't get very much with it. It was something different. And just make sure, don't always assume that the 6 weeks earlier statement would hold true for a 58 modifier. Just make sure you recognize that some procedures are not 90 days. Yep. That's for E&M go-kart. For this one, it would need it if you were doing another procedure on the same patient who you just did a related or staged procedure on 6 weeks prior. If this was staged, where we removed the cataract, the one prior surgery, and today now we're going to put in the lens, and it was all planned ahead of time, and it was staged this way. We got to remove the cataracts first, let the patient heal from that surgery, and then we'll put in their new lens. So that is a great example for utilizing the 58 modifier, correct? If we utilized our alphabetical index in the back of the book, we can just go to the word insertion, right? Because today we're inserting a lens prosthetic. So we can go to the word insert. Insertion. So I'm on page 1214 and I'm at the word insertion. What did we insert? Intraocular lens. Gonna have to keep going. Intracatheter. Intraocular lens. That ends up being on page 1215 in the middle column. That tells me my code for today's procedure has to be 6698 what? The treatment plan was established and discussed with the patient 6 weeks earlier when the cataract was removed. $669, 85 versus an 83. They're right across from each other. This one's a little difficult because if you look in the back of the alphabetical index, it's going to direct you to the 3. But if you look at your CPT code book codes, the actual codes and their descriptors inside the CPT book on page 505. You'll note there are brackets. You know, those little C things, and I keep telling you guys, those are where AAPC really loves to pick on those key terms that make a difference between the CPT codes. In code 66983, there's a bracket. What does it say inside that bracket? Thanks, Butter Pecan. Thanks for liking the live. Thank you guys so much for the gifts. And we've got almost 7,000 taps over there. Thank you guys. Stage 1, that's right, Go-Kart. In our code 66985, what's inside the brackets there? (66985). What's the bracket say of that CPT code descriptor? It says secondary implant. Those key terms about stage 1 procedure or secondary implant are the differences that AAPC wants to know if you know. Because this was a staged procedure, the brackets direct you as to which code to pick. If all you knew was the code number and what was in the bracket, which code would you pick for this answer? Because this patient had a prior surgery 6 weeks ago that was staged. Yep, secondary. Yep, because this was staged. Yep. Above the word secondary, you could write the word staged. That way you know. And remember, on exam day, if you have this question, you could have the staged written right there above those codes. Yep, something done before. Perfect. Get my drawing tool back out. And this one is A. All right, guys. Because it's not concurrent. I like that fancy terms she's using. That's awesome. All right, guys. Let me give out those YouTube memberships. I started to do that and then got distracted and didn't do it. Let me give out 5 YouTube memberships free to anybody that is inside my YouTube chat right now. I'm just going to send the money and YouTube picks the winners. This will give the YouTube channel that you are logged on to right now. It could be your son's, your husband's, it could be the next door neighbors, whoever left your YouTube channel recently and left you logged on and you happen to be in chat right now. That channel just got access to my YouTube set of videos that are the bonus ones. So the ones that do the code book prep, the replays of the workshops, duck classes, my courses, all kinds of stuff. Podcast, you get access to all that kind of stuff. Looks like Origami, Vanessa, Kath, Viral Hub, Angie, all one memberships. I hope that makes a huge difference in your guys' life and you guys get some benefit from that for sure. For our next question, I see that we have modifiers attached to 2 of the answers, which that modifier is 62. 62 is 2 surgeons. Do we have that issue going on today? Would we need that modifier for this question? Every time I go live, I give out YouTube memberships. Let's see. Sunday we gave away 10. Yesterday we gave away 5. And today we gave away 5 more. So hopefully I get to see y'all tomorrow and Thursday, and we'll give away 10 more. Should be the same time, 4:30 Arizona time zone. It is 5:45 here in Arizona right now. So we've been live about an hour and 10 minutes. And it will be on the channel. I'll be here. This practice session really helps me out. That's awesome, Amy. We can do anything you want to do. If you want to do some CPMA, I'd love to do some CPMA. I love it, love it, love it. Thanks, Karen, for joining.
At Karen Williams 463 has become a member.
That's awesome. You'll have access to everything I have. Me reading out the E&M guidelines or the ICD-10 guidelines to book prep videos, everything. You can just search the little magnifying glass on the YouTube channel and look up any videos you want. I'll show you guys some tricks in just a minute on the channel too before we leave, to show you how to find the cool videos when you have the membership. For this question, if I was going to look it up in the alphabetical index in the back of my book, I would go to skull-based surgery, right? Because we have a skull-based Lefort, which is a bone removal, right? Some sort of bone removal. We have intradural approach, right? So I would just go to skull-based surgery right here. Then I have some decisions to make. Am I doing a biopsy? Am I anterior? Am I doing a decompression? Am I doing a repair? Or am I posterior, midline? What am I doing? That kind of stuff. And I see that we are anterior, so that's really handy. I would stay here at skull-based surgeries. I would stay under anterior. And I see that we have a Lefort 1, and we have that in our little indentation right there. That tells me my correct answer has to be 61586. Then I could get rid of any answer that does not have that code in it. Now my answer is just a difference between B or C. The documentation does not state that there was more than one surgeon. According to Amy, ENT surgeon, it's singular word, it's not plural. One provider. Be careful. Sometimes they'll mention 2 providers during your CPC exam question, but one provider will actually be opening up the skull, right? Doing the burr holes. And then the other doctor will be doing stuff with the nerves or putting a stimulator in, something like that. It's 2 physicians, yes, on the same patient, but they're both doing their own individual surgery. This 62 is only to be used when both providers are both doing the same surgery on the same patient. One might be doing the removal and then the other one might be doing the closure, whatever. But it's still the same surgery, right? So be careful on that one for sure on exam day. But that one's answer is C. Let me get this one formatted prettier for you guys. I can only code what is documented. That's right, Amy. Let's see. So like if y'all are on my website at Medical Coding by Jen, go to the social media tab, which is where I'm at right now. That'll take you to Tube of the U channel. So for tomorrow, if I'm going to have a live, it'll be right here in the center on the main page. It'll say what time it's going to start, that kind of stuff. If you guys have the YouTube membership, the coolest part of your guys' membership is these little bars up here at the top, right, where it says video, shorts, live, podcast, playlist, post, and store. If you go to the lives, you've got every live video I've ever done, and in the header of them will be what we did, like E&M questions or most missed concepts, right? This is E&M and muscles and ortho. So look at the differences between what is written here so you'll know what I'm doing. If you go to the shorts tab, these are just 1-minute practice questions, right? If I'm doing a quick, here's how you do this question, that's underneath the short tabs. If you go to the podcast, you have to be a member of the $5 a month YouTube membership to get this, but instead of just clicking on the pictures, I have down here at the very bottom where it says view full podcast. That's a much better option for all of these groups of videos to click on, because it'll just start you randomly in the 12 episodes, right? But if you want to click on view full podcast, then you could see what chapter I'm doing the podcast on. Like this is ICD-10. This one is Introduction to CPT. This is chapter 10, which is cardiovascular. So looking at the the view the whole podcast is really helpful. The E&M is the best because I'm legitimately sitting here with a camera and I'm just talking. It's just me. I didn't even speed it up. I didn't take out all my ums or uhs. And I'm just sitting here reading out sentence by sentence the E&M guidelines and telling you what in Jen's world that means. Very good podcast. The other thing that you've got is this playlist right there. This holds all the magic, right? So if you wanted to look at just the process of elimination videos, those are all right there. If you wanted to see all the old workshops, those are right there. If you wanted to see the CPT book prep pages, those are all right there. Remember, don't click on the photograph. Click on the thing that says view full playlist. That way you can pick out which chapter you watched the video from, right? So if you just wanted to do E&M and watch me make my notes and make yours with them, then great. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, because a lot of times you can't actually like see the physical book like underneath my hand because I'm writing on it. But if you listen, I'm telling you exactly what words I'm writing and where I'm writing them, and you can write them along with me in your book. And like cardiovascular, I've done some in every section so that you guys can follow along and at least get you started in every section of the entire CPT or ICD-10 book in every chapter, so that you guys can at least get started and do the rest on your own. If you see the Advanced Duck Practice Fridays, that's my 2-hour duck classes. These are excellent classes. Don't worry about what year I created some of the classes, but they go all the way down to even just last month and starting as far back as 3 years ago. These are excellent live lessons. They're 2 hours long, and they are the worst of the worst exam questions that you will get wrong, even with the process of elimination, even looking up stuff in the alphabetical index, kind of like that last question where the answer wasn't the correct answer that they led you to in the alphabetical index. You had to go physically to the code and see some little weird tiny little thing that was different. Maybe it's a parenthetical, maybe it's a guideline. There was something hidden somewhere that you would never notice on exam day. These are the worst exam questions, and they're very high technical. If you are not advanced, if you're not ready to take your certification exam and you at least know the basics, then this would be really rough for you. You're going to think that you don't know anything if you walk into that class, but it's intentional. You're meant to get every single question completely wrong on those 2-hour class days. So don't feel like a complete failure. Just learn from it, because these are the worst questions and it's meant to help you. So if you're like 1 point away, 2 points away from passing your exam, this will definitely show you some of the cool things that you might be missing out of the CPT book. But that is super helpful. And then again, the little hourglass is way over here at the other side of the word store. So if you wanted to just find something like process of elimination, just type in part of the word process, and it'll bring up every video for process of elimination that I've ever done. Some of them are 3 minutes long. Some of them are 3 hours long, like that one where every question I did with the process of elimination, and that one's 3 hours and 33 minutes. So pretty cool. You just have to scroll down and find the ones that you want to watch, but that is how you move and navigate inside the channel, whether you have a membership or not, doesn't matter. Go to the post page also. This is going to look different because I'm logged on as me, but what I post here for you guys is actual real practice questions that are not videos, but they're interactive. You click physically with your mouse what you think the question's answer is, and then the rationale will pop up. So what you're seeing right now is my view because I wrote these questions. So the answer is already noted for me in the red, and then the rationale is down here. But when you guys go to the post page, and this page is free for everybody, you will find hundreds and hundreds of practice questions that you guys can do. Just click on what you think is the correct answer, and then the rationale will show up. And it'll highlight green if you got it right. It'll be red if you got it wrong. See? Super easy. And you guys can do all of these. Some of these are excellent. Some of the ones that I wrote myself, especially, are the Moz surgeries. I go into great detail because I love coding those. And I make you guys questions. Some of them are for the auditor exam. Some of them are for the risk adjustment. Some of them are for CPC. But they're all wonderful questions that I took the time to go in here and put in each individual line and then the rationale, and it's all free for you guys. Super handy practice area. Be sure and leave me comments or thumbs up if you like the questions or if you don't understand it. Even with the rationale, let me know so that I can give you guys some more feedback and stuff. But you never know what you're going to find over here where I might post pictures that are super handy, like one of the exam questions on the exam can be answered with this question, with this page in your ICD-10 book. If you happen to know where this picture is inside your ICD-10 book, then that's where one of the answers is for one of the anatomy questions on the exam. So that's why that's posted there. Anyway, that's all on the post page in the YouTube channel. Super cool. And if anybody wants to be a CPMA or a CPC and you want a full course from aapc, I do have that under course options. We will be starting up a new course in August. Timelines are here for CPMA and for CPC if anybody wants to join in. If you've already purchased a course through another school and you want me to be your tutor and help you through all 77 lessons, then there's an option to add me as your tutor through your course already purchased through AAPC or something like that. So that's there too. But our Friday classes, you can schedule those right there on the main page, on the home page. We've got those right there, or Sunday's mock exam that we're going to do. So those two are right there. Super cool. All right, let's get back to our practice questions. What did you guys get for this one right here? What would we look under? I'd probably go to cataracts, I think. For this one, let's see what the book says. You took the CCS exam. How'd you do? Cataracts. Come on, Jen, you can spell cataracts. I know you can. C-A-T, oh my gosh, I'm too dyslexic for this. C-A-T-A-R. Cataracts. There we go. Page 1129. I found the word cataracts. And what can we do? We got rid of the cataracts by incision and by a laser. So I would scooch you down to incision and laser, and that tells me my answer has to have 66,821 in it. And I only have one answer with that one in it. That's way easier than looking at all of these CPT codes and their descriptors. All I did was go to cataract, and then I went to incision, and then I went to laser. 10 points away. That's awesome. How did you like the matchy match at the end? I've always been told there's a little more than 100 questions, right? There's like 100, 15 or something like that. And the last 10 are match. You match 10 vocabulary words with 10 definitions. But Coding Contempto lady the other day said there was some fill in the blanks. And I was wondering, I don't remember that ever being on the CCS exam, but since you've taken it, let me know if there's any fill in the blanks on it. We only have 17 on TikTok. We did have 54 at one time. That was nice. I can't tell how many I got on YouTube. Ooh, diagnosis codes. My time was taken away because the computer started acting up, and yes, it's new for the cases section where there's fill in the blank. There's 107 questions. That's awesome. Okay. I always thought that for CPC, AAPC should have some of the cases at the end, like 5 of them, be fill in the blank. That is a reasonable thing to have for any medical coder, I think, is to have a couple of fill in the blanks where you got to find the codes by yourself. And I bet they'll do that one of these days, but we are very fortunate that they have not done that yet. If we're bilateral, what does that mean we will find in our available answer? We should have the number 3 in our available answer, right? So anything without a 3 in it, you could get rid of. Would we have 5 digits, 6 digits, or 5? See how many digits out we are compared to some of the other answers? I always notice that kind of stuff. I always like to avoid the 9s because more often than not, our correct answer usually doesn't have a 9 in it. Not always. Definitely want to code out to the most specificity, right? 6 digits is better than just 5 digits. Might even be a MIPS code and you get payment for that. You took your CPC exam last week and you got a 64. That's really good score. You're 6 questions away. That's awesome. Very good score. Now you know what to expect. Now you know what's on the exam. I'm sure you do just well. Very well your next attempt. Yep, you will do fantastic next time. Ooh, anesthesia. If we are doing anesthesia, what do we have to get rid of in our question before we start thinking about how much time we have that we will calculate for anesthesia? What do we need to remove from the question? Baby Ruth, she's studying for CCS. You have been around for years with me. I know you're going to do just fine. Surgery time, that's right. Get rid of anything that says surgery started and surgery finished. Absolutely. That will make a big difference on exam day, right? We want to keep our 1226 and our 1526. Yep. That way we know our answer is B. Yep. Very good. Perfect. Oh, these questions are crazy. I don't know why they're in here. They're absolutely nothing that we would utilize on CPC exam at all. You would bill for the next two questions just the absolute most expensive thing ever. It's kind of crazy, but these are not utilized for CPC. But all you would do is take the units that they're telling you, right? There's a 3, there's a 2, there's a 2. You take those, add those together, right? We'd get, what have we got? We also have a P4 patient. Yep, 2 units there. So we take our 3 is our baseline value for our CPT code. So we take our 3 and we add to it the emergency circumstances, right? You'd get 2 more for that. We get for our P4, that gets you 2 more also, which they tell you. And then you do your anesthesia time, and for every 15 minutes, you get another unit of time. So if we have our 1 hour and 15 minutes, that's 5 units, right? So we would have 7 plus 5 equals 12. 12 times $100 is our $1,200. Super easy. It's nothing big. You just times these by 100 after you add up all the units. So 10, right, for our 45, we'd have 10 units plus your P1 or your physical status for your P3, right, plus your base of 10 equals 11 units, right? And then we got to do our time. We don't care about surgery time. We do care about when they were turned over and then when the surgery started. So how many minutes do we have? Our anesthesia was an hour and 45 minutes. So that's 4 plus 3 is 7 units again. And then we add that to our 11. 11 plus 7 is our 18. And then 18 times 100 is our 1800. But these will not be on the CPC exam. Nothing like that you would ever need to do. This might be something for the CCS people, but not for CPC. The only thing that you might need to know is how, 15 minutes equals 1 unit of anesthesia time. That's all. Just a simple definition like that. But they're not going to make you do any math. Yeah, just totally ignore those questions. Those are like, shouldn't even be there. Not for CPC. No, no, no. All right. The cool thing about the back of the book in your alphabetical index is that there is a lovely anesthesia section. If I could spell anesthesia, let me get there. That's antibodies. Anesthesia starts on page 1100 in the 2026 AMA CPT book. Middle column, anesthesia. And you can look up a lot of your correct answers from here. Where they like to confuse you on exam day is upper and lower stuff. So if you're in the AMA 2026 CPT book, page 68 has anesthesia for upper abdomen, lower abdomen, and perineum right over here. So if you don't know where your gallbladder or your spleen is that upper abdomen, lower abdomen, where's your appendix, where are the fancy things, right? That's where they get you on the CPC exam for just the 4 questions that they do have on anesthesia. It's a lot easier to look up your body part back here in your alphabetical index than it would be to do these inside the CPT code section book. Like if you were at the actual 00100 codes, whatever, at the page 68, it's harder to do them there than it is to do them with the alphabetical index, because this, you can go anesthesia for the body part, right? The gallbladder, and it'll tell you if that's which code it is, the answer, without you having to decide whether you're upper or lower abdomen and picking the correct code. So highly recommend you guys look at your anesthesia section in your alphabetical index in the back of the book. I hope you don't have one of those on the exam, Amy, but you never know. I hope not. I recently beta tested for the master exam. Ooh, talk about fill in the blanks. Just like the CCS, where you might have 15 diagnosis codes and 12 procedures you did that day. And the modifiers, is not fun. That's a cool exam. It also has multiple answers can be the correct answers in a multiple choice question. So unlike CPC, if you go for the master exam of coder, they might have answers A, B, C, D, E, and F, and then multiple of those could be correct. A, G, and F are all correct for that one question. So, whew. If we have a 94-year-old patient, what must we have in our correct answer? 100%. Every question, every time, what will we find in our correct answer? Just because of the age. Hey, Lisa. Good to see you. We got 33 of you guys on TikTok. Thanks for tapping. Thanks for sharing. We got 10,000 tappy taps. You ran across a question like this before too. Awesome. Thank you guys for the heart me's. Thank you for doing the stuff in the gallery. You guys are so great. Thanks for sharing. You will always have a 99-100 in your answer just simply because this patient is over the age of 70, right? So you can get rid of any answer that doesn't have that 99-100 in it, because anybody that's over 70 or at 70 must have that in your correct answer. Now it's just a difference. Did I do 2 procedures or did I do 3 procedures today for this patient? We did anesthesia. We did a code for the age. And we also put in an arterial line. So we do have 3 procedures that we are going to bill for today. So our answer is B. I make sure that I have this 36620 in my anesthesia section, the top of the page for arterial line or at the blue guideline pages, so that I don't have to go look it up in the cardiovascular section, because it's annoying and it might come up more than likely on your exam. So be sure you have that in anesthesia. All right, what do you guys think about the correct answer for this one? We could go to placement, which is on page 1273 of a keep going. Got a lot of options. Of a insertion of a central non-tunneled line directs us to 36555 and 56. That means we can get rid of 2 of our available answers. And then usually it's just a difference between a patient's age and those codes. Which answer do you guys think is correct for this one? Answer C is correct. Good job. Good job. Perfect, Lori. For our next one, what would we look up for this one? We go back to our anesthesia page on anesthesia. And don't forget, you got a better look if you guys are on the YouTube channel, but for those that are on TikTok, thank you for hanging out with me. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Same time, 4:30 Arizona time zone. And on Thursday. I can't do it on Wednesday. I have a class to teach that day, but tomorrow and Thursday. Friday, we've got our duck class. Sunday, we have our workshop. And next Friday, we have another 2-hour duck class. If you want to participate in those classes, they're on Zoom, and they are super helpful, and only $6 to join in. Go to anesthesia. What kind of anesthesia did we do? We did anesthesia on what body part? We did it on the heart. That directs us to the 60 through the 67. It's pretty much every single answer. The index wasn't very helpful for these. One thing that would be super helpful for these questions is to know your acronyms for certain add-on components of anesthesia. We notice that the 60 says it is without a pump oxygenator. What I like to do is draw one line through the word pump oxygenator. That way my code 00560 does not have the word pump oxygenator in it. I don't want to see that because it's not in that code. I don't know why they even bother to write it without. They should just say greater vessel of the chest and they're done, right? Because the next code underneath it, 61, says it does have a pump oxygenator. So you can tell that a lot of differences between these codes is knowing whether we used it or not. Now for your CPC exam, they're not going to say pump oxygenator. They are absolutely not going to say the same word that your CPT code descriptor calls that. They may call it a bypass. They may even call it something called like a cell saver. Funny word. Like you're at a grocery store. They might even just say bypass. Those are the things that come up off my head real easily. But they'll definitely change your questions to where some of the words will not match up with what is exactly typed in your CPC code descriptor, which is the confusing part when you guys are moving super fast, 120 seconds per question, and you're looking for this vocabulary term, but it's a little different than what is written there. So be sure to add in some AKA words for this area. And I highly recommend drawing one line through anything that does not include something. If you see the word without, put a line through it. That way you know it's not included. For this one, what did you guys get for 49? Yep. Long heart machine. Yep, that's another one. Very good. Go-kart. I've got some A's, D's, and B's. This one is A. All right. We got time for one more. Ooh, it's a good one too. Modifiers. These modifiers are not in your CPT book. Many people get confused on exam day and they go, where are these numbers? I don't know where they're at. And they're so used to looking at Appendix A or the front cover of their CPT book for modifiers, and these are not here. QS, G8, G9, G8, and QS are not in there. All modifiers, no matter where they are located, are all in your HitPix book. You have an Appendix C in your HitPix book. Sorry, not C. That's where your abbreviations are at. B, Appendix B, and it holds all of your modifiers. So Appendix B has all modifiers from A1 all the way to XU. If you have AAPC's versions of the HitPix, you'll note that the front covers have modifiers too, and you open them up and then they'll have like 3 pages of modifiers. This goes all the way to LR. But if you go to the back cover of your HitPix book and you look at the very last back cover page of your HitPix book, they have taken all the anesthesia modifiers and put them in one little box right here. Everything from 23, 47, the P1s, P2s, P3s, P4s, P6s. The interesting part that you need for your CPC exam starts right here with AA. AA, AD, G8, G9, GC, QK, QS, QX, QY, and QZ are all needed for your CPC exam. And if you don't know that this is where they're located, it could be very traumatic during your exam trying to figure it out. What I like to do is go to my anesthesia page section, and where I've got some space right here in my anesthesia notes area right before the codes, I'll write in all of those modifiers right there. Like this is a book from 2021, right? I wrote them all in even back then. So, you know, just having them right there on exam day is super helpful. That way I don't have to open up another book. And then I add in my little guidelines at the top, like add in the code 99100 if you have anybody less than 1 year of age or older than 70. I have that written at the top of the pages. The acronym O1V, I have that written in because that is an acronym for one lung ventilation in anesthesia, and it's usually something that they ask on the CPC exam. But if you don't know what the acronym O1V means, then it could be hard to pick out the right code for that too. So I have that up there too. If you need a copy of my notes, they're on my website underneath the notes tab. So you just come here to the website, and across the top, let me get this back down to where you guys can see it. We're going to have across the top a bunch of headers, and if you just go to the notes tab page, It's also listed down there at the bottom. All my notes are all listed here, like E&M, CPT, ICD-10, cardio, all that kind of stuff. They're all here on the notes pad. And then you can just download them instantly and put them on any device you want. Super helpful. But for this question, now that we know where to look for these modifiers at, we're going to look at just the last sentence. What modifier is appropriate for Medicare patient? Ooh, very cool. What do you guys think is the answer for that one? And look again, Amy. Which one is good for Medicare? It's not D. Look again. I see somebody saying that on TikTok. I couldn't see their name. It's not C either, Janelle. A patient who is undergoing monitored anesthesia sorry, that is invasive. That word means deep, complex. So when I tell you they love to play with the English language, they really do. They don't want to say that means deep and complex, but they did say that the procedure was markedly invasive. Yep, that tells us that B is our correct answer. Yep, very tricky. There you go. We got time for one more, and then I'm going to go get something to drink, hang out with Travi a little bit. He's wanting to drive around. We had to put his truck in the shop, but maybe we can take Grandma's out for a little drive. I think he's just wanting to get something to eat, but he always needs the practice. Would have been beneficial for me to join your class if I have just begun the CPC course. Yeah, absolutely. I have that tutoring option on my website. So if you've already purchased an AAPC course through another vendor or even through AAPC themselves, you can go to the top up here and it says course options. When you get there, scoochie down here, and you see I have an option where I don't need to buy the course. I already have it. I just want you to be my teacher for a year. And I am fixing to teach the class in August. I'm starting over all over again. The last 2 weeks of this month is just practice questions for everybody that wants to go on and start taking their CPC certification exam. So right now I'm not teaching anything other than certification exams, right? So we're going to start up August 1st with the Business of Medicine, Chapter 1, and I'm going to walk them through all 77 assignments in that chapter and do those. You can add me as your tutor, absolutely. You'll also get access to this really cool page on my website. And it's going to have like this like little fancy log on and password. Because you won't have access to my Blackboard, you will have access to a class documents page where I'm trying to log on right now and show you, but I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I might be logged on as somebody wrong, like just as me. But I have a page that you can log on to, and it'll have the links to all the replay of the PowerPoint presentations, the practical applications, all the chapter questions with answers, and it will also have copies of all my notes there for those that I'm tutoring through their courses through Legacy or Preppy or whoever you have your course bought from. You'll still have access to all of my CPT, ICD-10, and guideline notes too. You'll just log on to a page on my website for those if you need them. But for this practice question, see if I can't get all this bolded. I had it right first and then I changed it. Oh, don't second guess yourself. Yep, I see more people get that wrong all the time from that. Thank you for the 11,000 taps on TikTok. So good to see that number up there. Using your technique and doing the practice exams, I passed my exam on my second try by 10 points. Woohoo! 80. That's awesome. That's awesome, Pooh. So proud. You are very welcome. That makes my day. Just screenshot that. Thank you so much for taking the time to come back and tell me that. So motivational. You're on chapter 14. I wanted to show you guys one more thing about modifiers. There's one question on the CPC exam. You guys listening? And the modifier is not in Appendix B in your HIPICS book. It's a modifier that you guys have to create on your own. So if you go to any HIPICS book and you go to your very first HIPICS code, which is A0021, which is an ambulance service outside a state park per mile transportation Medicaid only code. It's just the very first code in your HIPICS book. Right above it is one tiny little, I don't know what you call this, but it's a ledger. And this is where you actually create your own modifier, the 2 digits. It's called Transportation Services, including ambulances. It has one paragraph that goes over the modifiers QM and QN. This paragraph is vital. You guys should know where this is on exam day, be able to run to it. Be sure and like tab the top of the page or something so that you can get to it. I hate tabs on the sides because you guys are running from code to code. You don't need a bunch of tabs on the side, but a tab at the top to find this little table is really helpful. What you do when you create your own modifier is you'll have one letter, D through X, that will be the place that you picked up your patient from. And then there'll be another letter that you drop off the patient at. So if I was at a skilled nursing facility and I drove an ambulance to pick up a patient, the first letter in my modifier would be letter N. And if I drove that patient to a helicopter pad to get them airlifted to something else, the second letter in my 2-digit modifier would be I. So my modifier for today's ambulance ride would be NI. And again, a modifier that you would not find in your complete list of modifiers, which is Appendix B. But you have to know where this table is and know this is a thing that you have to create your own modifier for ambulance services. And knowing that on exam day is super helpful. DV says, I wish I would have found you before I bought my course. I'm on chapter 14 of 20, and I've learned more from you in the last 2 lives than I have in my entire course. Aw, that is awesome. You want to take your CCA? Would it be like a CPC? CPC's a little bit stronger than a CCA. CCA is the baby version of CCS. I don't know why you wouldn't want to just take CPC. CCA and CCS are one price for one exam attempt. You fail, you got to buy the whole thing over again, $400, right? If you buy AAPC attempts, you get 2 attempts for $500. So you could take it the first time and not put so much stress on yourself and, take it and try to pass, of course, but don't traumatize yourself. You got another exam attempt. That's exactly what I did and the reason why I chose it. Also, be sure you do an employment search of jobs that hire CCA versus CPC or CCS in your area and see which certification has more employment opportunities for you too. That kind of research is really helpful. Great, Amy. That's great. I'm so glad that helped. Okay, back to Mrs. Jones. Our question 151. What did you guys get? I think some people got A and some people got B. So what do we have to do? When we first see that we're doing time with anesthesia, we're going to get rid of surgery time, right? The surgery is concluded at whatever. We're going to get rid of that time. Don't need to know it. And I don't need to know that surgery began at that time. Always get rid of those. When you're billing anesthesia, surgery has nothing to do with anesthesia. So the rest of the time that's left over is 7:30 to 9:45. What is that, 2 hours and 15 minutes or whatever? That helps you cut down your available answers right away, all right? Remember to always go in and get rid of surgery time. Start time, finish time, get rid of it. Has nothing to do with anesthesia. The minutes or hours that are left over after you do that are what you're going to use to calculate anesthesia. Oh, that's terrible, but awesome of you. Go back through all her replays and take notes as you're going through her old lives in any of her videos. Yep. "90-year-old patient will need that 99100. That's absolutely correct. What answers have that and have the correct 2 hours and 15 minutes? Excellent observation, Wilson. That's perfect. Yep, we know B is our correct answer. All right. Yay. All right, let me see if I can't do this. Can I do this? Let me create a live for tomorrow. reuse. Tomorrow is the 21st, and I'm going to do 4:30 Arizona time zone. Done. So now, as that's scheduling, I can go back here and go to social media, click on my YouTube channel, and in a minute, it's going to show up that we have one scheduled for tomorrow. I just hate for this thing to process. It's still preparing the stream. There it goes. There it goes. I think it did at that time. It looks like you're already... No, I want to go live. No, I don't want to go live now. I want to go live tomorrow. But anyway, I'm trying to set it up. It'll be there and it'll show, instead of being the place where it says I'm live right now, it'll say that there's one for tomorrow. That way you guys can join in, and then I'm going to put one down for Thursday also. That way you guys can have that there too. I go here. I'm gonna go create a live and schedule a stream, reuse. And I'm going to do for Thursday at 4:30 also. Bring your questions if you guys got any at all. Anything that I can help you guys out with. If there's any practice questions that you guys don't understand, and even with the rationale, you can email me those questions. Just send me a screenshot of it or something, and I will put those in our live for tomorrow or for Thursday. There we go. Now they're both there. So if you go to my YouTube channel, both of the upcoming streams are both right there. One for tomorrow and one for Thursday. Wednesday, I'm going to be teaching CPMA. Discord is super helpful also. Yes. That link is under the social media tab. If you click on this right here, that'll toss you into our Discord study group. I have Twitch, RedNote, LinkedIn, the Amazon wish list is right there. Like if there is stuff that you guys need for your desk. What pens do I use? What highlighters do I use? All that stuff is listed right here. Everything that I legitimately can reach right here at my desk is right here. That's my tea warmer upper thing, you know. Everything, even my headphones, are legitimately right here. I use it all. So if I have it here on my desk, then I've got it right here in that little list for you. I hope this is super helpful for you. Thanks, Go-Kart. Thanks, Wilson. Thanks, Amy, for all your help today. I really appreciate you guys. I hope this is helpful. Don't forget to go to that YouTube channel, and don't forget to go through the post page. There's a ton of completely free, legitimate practice questions right here. Just click on what you think the answer is, and then the rationale will show up, and it'll let you know if you got them right or wrong. And there is hundreds that you guys can do right here, all for free on the YouTube channel. I hope this is helpful. And for those that won the YouTube memberships today, I hope that those replays of those live lessons are super helpful. The best pages are to go to the workshops, turn off all the audio, And every time a new question starts, see if you can't do the question in the same pace that I'm doing it in those workshops, because I'm doing the questions in the 120 seconds per question. There's not a lot of time to teach. I have to go in the same pace as what we would do on certification exam day. And that helps bring up your skills of getting through the books, knowing where to go find the answers. And if you can get 80% of them correct with me through those, then you're going to do great. Thank you so much for joining the fan club, Wendy. I hope that was super helpful for you. Twinkle has been adding in a ton of practice questions too. There's a membership on my website also just for practice questions. So if you ever decide to join the practice question site, you go to the bonus question area right there. I gotta sign in. I don't think I have access with this YouTube account, but it is super cool. We have 19 sections of the CPC exam in this area. You start this right here, and when you click on that and you hit the join button, she's been adding in a bunch of practice questions. So has Go-Kart, and it'll come up with a tab here that has 19 areas like E&M questions, cardiovascular questions, respiratory questions, and each chapter has their own exam area, and you'll do the exam, do all the questions in the area, then hit grade, and it'll grade your exam. Great area to practice in. Super helpful. Anyway, guys, I hope this is helpful. I'm going to get off here and go get something to drink and eat and hang out with Travis. Yep, Discord is on the website. Just go to the social media tab right there. Discord is right there. Just click on that join now button right there, and it'll toss you right into Discord. Yep, super helpful. Thanks, Wendy. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Good night, YouTube.